Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are back in the Blueprint catalog and I'm going to be showing how I build an A.F.K mob grinder. So now you can see it up above me there and we'll get into that in a moment. Everything falls down into here, gets burned up by the campfires, and then depending on where you build it, you may have witches spawning up there, and if they do, sometimes they can get stuck. So if you put in a little trap door where you can shoot through or hit them with a sword, you can normally get them unstuck out of there in case they build up on you. So then down here is an auto sorting system. This one is primed and ready to go. So you can see here we have some string and our tags, and I'm going to be showing how to build this as well, at least a smaller version of it, in today's video. So we're going to start with the sorting system first. That way if you do have the materials to build it up like this, you can make it a little bit more organized while you're collecting mob drops. So to build the auto sorter, you're going to need a footprint of 5 blocks by 5 blocks by 5 blocks tall, or if you're building a single module, just one sorter at a time, you only need 1 block by 5 blocks tall. Also, I put a note here, these materials would be cut into fifths if you were only building one of these, and you can see the different materials we're going to need here. Unique name tags just means something that doesn't match an item that's already in the game, so it can't get confused, and it'll help lock out the system and make sure that you're sorting correctly. Alright, now that we have our materials, we're going to start on one of the corners and place down our double chest like so, and one in front all the way across, like that. Then on top of the chest, we're going to go ahead and add our hoppers. So if we crouch jump, we can place one below us, do it again, and then crouch place 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, like so. Then off the back end of this, we're going to go ahead and crouch, place a solid block, like so. Then on top of that, we're going to go ahead and place our comparators facing away from the hoppers. It should look something like this. Then next, we want to go ahead and place our hoppers feeding into the comparators here. So if we crouch in place, aiming at the bottom of the comparator, place one like that, and each one of these needs to go into the comparator in front of it. It should look something like that. Then we can take the last of our hoppers, the first one, pick either left or right, it doesn't matter, and place down a hopper like so. Then into that hopper, we're going to set our other hoppers. And it should look something like that. Next, we want to add a temporary block, so we're going to place one right here. And then on top of it, we want to put a solid block. On the back of it, we want to put a glass block. And underneath, we want to put a target block. Then we can break out the temporary block, place it on the target block, place a solid below and a solid behind. And it should look something like that. Then we can continue this design starting with the target block, 2, 3, 4. The block above it, 1, 2, 3, 4. The glass block, 1, 2, 4. And the 2 solid blocks on the bottom. However, because we want to put redstone in here, before we close up the back, we're going to put a piece of redstone down below like so. Then take the last of our solid blocks and close that off. Then we can finish out our redstone by placing it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like so. Then we need to place our redstone torches in the front of the target block, going towards the hoppers. And it should look something like this. Then, for each of the hoppers leading into a comparator, we're going to go ahead and in each one of them, we're going to put 4 of our unique name tags. Now, I just go with sorting. It normally works pretty well, and I don't plan on naming any other items sorting. But you could literally just hit a bunch of random keys. It would have the same effect. Then we're going to go ahead and grab some item frames, and we're going to crouch place those on front. Or once the items have been filtered through, we can mark them, and then we know what's in each chest below. And that's pretty much it for the sorting system. If you were building a single module of this, you would just take from here and go straight back and not include all the rest of this stuff. And you can make this as big or small as you like. You can daisy chain it pretty far as long as you can render distance it. Then we can take some random blocks for this, and we're just going to place them in like so. And as they feed through, each one will hit a hopper. If it has an item in it and it doesn't match, it will skip over. However, if it doesn't have an item in it like this one, it will drop the next item into this one, sorting it, dropping it down below, where you can then take it out and place it on the item block like so. Alright, now we're going to move on to the mob harvester. This is an A.F.K setup where you essentially just stand in the area, they drop down, get burned, drop their items down into the chest, and as you can see, it's already been working just in the short little while that this one's been built. Getting quite a few different materials already. So, in order to build this one, we're going to need a fairly large footprint, being 20 blocks by 20 blocks and 28 blocks tall. And we're also going to need a fairly large amount of building blocks. This comes out to about 19 stacks plus 20 blocks. You can fudge that number a little bit depending on if you bury it in the ground or not. If you bury it in the ground, you don't have to build the walls going up to the top. And so you can just carve out a 2x2 hole down to the fire pits and hoppers and just put in a ladder for how you get down yourself. So now that we have our materials, the first thing we want to do once we have our area marked off is count for the center. Since it's 20 by 20, we're going to count 10 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like so. And we're going to actually go to the block next to it and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like so. And that is where we're going to place our first chest. Then we're going to place another one behind it and 3 hoppers coming off of it. Next, we're going to place a hopper going into the last hopper here and 3 more going into that hopper. And it should look something like this. Then, with our hoppers placed down, we can come up here and place our first campfire. Using that, we can place our first outer block, like so. Do the same thing on this side. Place down our second campfire. Do the same thing. Place down our third, one more time. And place down our fourth. Then on the side you want to use as a viewing glass, go ahead, place 1, 2, 3 pieces of glass like so. Then jump and place a trap door and flip it up like so. Then we're going to fill in the rest of the columns, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and get it level with our glass blocks. 5, 6, okay. Then we want to build 18 blocks up, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, like so. And we're going to bring up all the rest of them to match. Now that we have our column built, we're going to fill in the corners here. Then, off of each of the sides, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like so, and then bring it back in the same amount. And it should look something like that. Then we're going to add around the edge of each of these, like so. And repeat for all 4. Then we're going to go ahead and add a block to one of the 4 corners. We will eventually add to all of them, but then we're going to go up 2, like so. And this block is just so you can get up and down in case you are building this in survival. Makes it a little bit easier to get back up here. Then we're going to go ahead and go around our 2-block wide channels like so, and we want to go 2 blocks tall the whole way around. And it should look something like this. With that done, we're going to go ahead and fill in from that edge to this edge, squaring it out. Like so, and then filling in the gap in between. And it should look something like this. Then, again, in case you're playing in survival, we want to go ahead and build up a little staircase until we get the whole thing built. But we're going to build up 3 high around the outside edge. Now, we're going to leave this staircase here for the time being. For anybody building this in survival, you're going to want to be able to get out and get up onto the roof. So, next we're going to go ahead and place the remainder of our trapdoors, just like so. Each one of the trenches will get a full set of trapdoors, level with the floor. Then with that done, we're going to go ahead and open all of those trapdoors. And it should look something like this. Next, we're going to use our buckets of water and place 2 source blocks at the back end of each of our trenches. And you'll see the water goes to the edge but doesn't go down and put out our campfires. Then we can go ahead and start placing in the roof. And we're going to fill in the entire area. Now, if you're building this in survival, I recommend building the furthest back corner away from your staircase and then building it out towards your staircase so that way you can finish up and close the whole thing in. Then, once you have it closed in, you can go ahead and close off the rest of the outside layer. So, for lighting the top of this, what I like to do is I place a torch in each corner. Then I count 7 blocks in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I can use the torch I place here to go ahead and line up diagonally with the torch over there. Do the same thing again. Doesn't have to be perfect, I just like it to look neat and tidy. And then I come out to the outside edge and place 1 more. And it should look something like that. And that's pretty much all there is to it, to this build. It's pretty simple, no real redstone, just some hoppers and a whole lot of blocks. And it will passively generate mobs upstairs. They get pushed down into the fire, items go down here and collect in the box below. And all you have to do is stand and AFK. Alright, and that's pretty much it for this build here. With it full dark on the inside in there, mobs will start spawning, they get pushed down the column, dropped onto the fire, and then all of their drops get fed down into here. You don't get XP gain from this farm, this is strictly for items. Now, if you're not worried about sorting out your items and you want them to just collect, you can go ahead and this is all you need to build right here. However, if you do want to have your items sorted, this is every item that I've received from this farm, plus this box on the end here is for overflow, as rotten flesh tends to fill up pretty quickly, as well as unstackable items in case there is a bow that drops or a helmet from a zombie or anything like that. As you can see, it's using the same sorting system I showed earlier, and it's just been expanded to fit the amount of items needed to be sorted. So then you can build yourself a little room like this and just go AFK while you do the dishes or make dinner or mow the lawn or whatever you got to do that day. You can just collect materials passively while you're doing it. Alright everybody, that's going to do it for today's episode. This contraption here is one of my favorites because it's so simple and it's a really good way to get a lot of odd and end type materials like gunpowder and arrows, bone meal, and string without having to go out and hunt for it, or while you're busy doing something else, you can go ahead and just load the game up, set your character down, and collect materials passively. So, as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful. And I'm going to go take a nap and farm some materials. So, until next time, have a good one.